can turn the world on with a smile. You can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. Well, it's your girl and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it. Love is all around, don't need to fake it. You can never down, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, May 10th, and Marc has 789 days left to serve in his U.S. federal sentence. And today marks a significant anniversary of sorts. 2 years ago today, on May 10th, Marc was ordered extradited by Rob Nicholson of the Conservative government under Prime Minister Stephen Harper. 10 years ago, right about now, I was doing interviews. I believe we were actually marching right through the streets. Very hoarse-voiced and very tired, having just come back from occupying Harper's office when we went to court to have Marc's bail renewed. But while we were waiting in the courtroom, or the court restaurant actually, we got a phone call. Our lawyer got a phone call saying that a decision had been made in the extradition. And our lawyer, Kirk Tusaw, asked, well, what was the decision? And she said, just wait and I'll send you an email. So I remember some very agonizing, long minutes waiting, praying that the answer was no extradition. Kirk got an email, opened up the PDF, reviewed it, and we learned then that Marc had been ordered extradited to the U.S. by Rob Nicholson. And that, of course, was a devastating day. It was a blur of shock and media, and a lot of stuff went on. But in the 2 years since, I think it's fair to say that our movement has made a lot of ground, that Marc has somehow reversed in age and gotten a bit healthier, happier, more relaxed. I'm getting older and more stressed out, but also wiser and feeling very good about the way things are going. I've got an amazing team of people. I've got tons of supporters. So Marc and I are deeply grateful for all of your support 2 years after the day he was ordered extradited to the U.S. So 1 year ago today, Marc picked up for the first time a guitar and started learning music. Marc had never done an instrument before, and 1 year ago today he first started. So now he's the leader of a band named Yazoo in Mississippi Federal Prison down there. And of course, if you're familiar with the shows and Marc's blogs, you know all about the music that he's playing and how he's doing and how important that is to him. So good for Marc, who has another concert coming up. I think it was the 6th of June, but I'll give you more details on Facebook and Twitter, where I'll be posting a little note from him later on today. Now, last week, I showed you guys a bunch of clippings, and I forgot to share the video because I was in Toronto, so maybe a lot of you didn't see it, but we had 5 days in a row of news coverage. We had Marc having a cover and a 2-page spread feature inside the edition of The Province from journalist John Ferry going down to visit him. So that was a big feature, and Marc had another 1-page article in The Province before that, Pest or Profit. Then there was a column about me by Ian Mulgrew in the Vancouver Sun, and about me and Marc and how things are going. And then Marc got an awesome letter published in the Vancouver Sun in response to his prosecutor's article about legalization. And then there was a talk back in The Province with Marc and people responding to the big features on him. But when I was filming my show last week on Wednesday, this hadn't yet come out. I hadn't seen this in The Province. It's another article about legalization where John Ferry, who was once a prohibitionist, writes that legal pot can't be worse than the status quo, and uses a lot of quotes and information from Marc. So I'm not going to read it all aloud to you, but of course, you know, Marc is brilliant and has great things to say. So that was actually 6 days in a row of Marc Emery, Jodie Emery news coverage, which also, of course, stressed a lot of emphasis on the drug war, on prohibition of marijuana, on the legalization campaign going on with so many high-profile figures, including his own prosecutor. So that was a big media blitz, and right after I did my show last week, I took off to Toronto with Jeremiah Vandermeer and a few others from Vancouver and took part in the Global Marijuana March. Now that happened all over the world in over 200 cities, I believe, and tons of people showed out, especially in countries where the war on drugs is really at its worst, with the most military and U.S. involvement. So we had a huge number of people, million at least, I'm sure, around the world, all combined, protesting together on Saturday, May 5th. And in Toronto, we were at the front of a 20,000 strong parade through the streets of downtown Toronto, the 5th biggest city in North America. And every year it's been the same thing, although this year and last year I haven't had Marc at my side. But we had Free Marc banners, and I had his big poster, and we represented both for him and for all of the drug war prisoners, all of the people who are locked up right now and on that day when we were out there celebrating and protesting. So it was a fantastic show of the people power. There's tons of stories, photos, videos, and a lot more at cannabisculture.com. So be sure to check out the blogs and the articles today, tomorrow, and from now on out, because there's lots of news going on, and cannabisculture.com is definitely a major source of all your info. So be sure to put it in your bookmark bar, because we've got lots to share, and a new website coming soon. I know I've been saying it for a long time, but it's true. It looks amazing, and we're so excited to launch that. So stay tuned, of course, for that. And I want to congratulate Chris Goodwin and Aaron Gorman, who got married on the eve of the Global Marijuana March. They had a beautiful ceremony. I'm so happy for them. These are two amazing activists out in Toronto. So I've known Chris as long as I've known Marc, to be honest. Online, we were both on the Cannabis Culture forums, and he's a hardcore activist who has probably been arrested even more times than Marc. So that's quite a feat, but he's a freedom fighter for sure, all the way, and we had a wonderful time being part of their wedding. So thanks so much to them and everybody out there who made it such a fabulous time. And thanks to those of you who were at Vapor Central for my speech on Friday night, where I spoke quite passionately, actually. Normally I stand and speak, and this time I sat down and I got really casual and made some pretty true but more bold statements than you might normally hear from me. So check that out on live stream, and you can see my hour-long almost. I think it was up to almost an hour long I was supposed to talk, and I went off, so you can hear how I really feel by checking that out. Next up in our schedule is the Treating Yourself Expo. This is a massive event in Canada, one of a kind. We don't actually have many other expos. There is a new one starting in Vancouver soon, but I'll give you more details as that becomes more solid. But as for Canada's only major expo, Treating Yourself magazine hosts it, and Marco Renda, the publisher, has kindly offered to give us a Cannabis Culture and Free Marc Emery booth again. So we'll be out there for May 25th to 27th. You can get all the info at treatingyourselfexpo.com. You'll be able to come and see me and Jeremiah Vandermeer, and again, many other familiar faces from the marijuana movement. And it's always a very fun time. A lot of work, but lots of fun. And we're going to hopefully be broadcasting live from the expo in downtown Toronto at the major convention center. It's a beautiful sight to behold, so we're looking forward to that. And also, I said in my last show, but I'll remind you that Idea City is a big event in Canada with 50 speakers of many different topics coming together to share their ideas and what they're doing. And I'm being chosen to speak this year about marijuana legalization. And Marc did speak there twice before and very well received. So they're going to introduce my speech with some video clips of him. And I'm very honored to be invited. This is quite a big thing, and for me, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'll have the wonderful marijuana man Greg Williams at my side as my guest. We're going to be there representing the Vancouver marijuana community, and also to remind people of everything done by Marc and by Michelle, who spoke there before and was a regular fixture at the Idea City events. We're there to remember all that she did as well, and to remind people the sacrifices that are made in this war on drugs and in the fight for freedom to medicate and to be happy and healthy. So lots to do out in Toronto coming up, and for this reason, I don't know how long we've been going, but I'm not going to do a draw this week. I didn't get around to sorting my emails and saving all the entries, but there weren't that many entries because I didn't share the video as much as I usually do. So next week, maybe I'll give a bonus bigger prize of some kind, or 2 t-shirts or something. But send an email to Jodie at cannabisculture.com. I'll save all the emails from the previous week and combine them with this upcoming week. So maybe I'll give away 2 or 3 prizes just to make sure that you guys get a good chance. But I appreciate you all tuning in, and be sure to check out cannabisculture.com and pot.tv and all of our Facebook and Twitter accounts. Facebook, I'm telling you, you might not like it that much, but make a fake basic account and you can stay tuned to what we're doing, because I post most updates there. And really, if you want to know what's going on with Marc and to see all the photos of the march and the rally and all sorts of things we do, be sure to join facebook.com. I'm not being paid for this, but it's a very good tool to utilize, and we get a lot of support through there. So thank you to everyone who stays in touch and everybody who sends Marc money. That helps us both so much. You don't even know. So we both really appreciate that. And we appreciate that people are doing what they can to end prohibition, marching on the streets, sending letters to newspapers, pushing for legalization initiatives in Washington State and elsewhere. And we are 100% behind all of you who are taking action for some freedom today. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. I'll be filming, I think it's Thursday next week. I visit Marc, but the week after that I'll be back on Wednesday because we're out to Toronto again. So stay tuned, and I'll see you all next time. Free Marc Emery.